Hello everybody, is Andy Smith with this week's book look. That's right, I grab a book off my shelf and go through it page by page. And if it's available, I post a link in the description below so you can go buy it for yourself. I am a 33-year veteran of the comic book industry, working for Marvel, DC, Image, Acclaim, Valiant, CrossGen, you name it, I've worked for them. Now I'm doing my own thing with Astonishing Comics. Let's get going. Fantastic Illustrated, the comic art techniques of Paul Davidson. I got this book from a company called Bud Plant. I get an email from them every week showing what their new stuff is. And I saw this and I was like, Paul Davidson, his name rings a bell. And I love comic art techniques, so I figured I'd get it. Looks like it's signed there by him, so that's cool. This book came out in 2021. First time I'm seeing it, so I'm a little behind. Fantastic Illustrated. I love seeing pencil stuff like this. So contents, we've got a foreword by writer Dan Abnett, the introduction, concept, cover process, from words to pictures, Tiamat, Mechbot process, Sea Line, the Singularity, Brawn, the Magnificent Goblineers, and an afterword. This book is, I don't think there's page numbers. Nope. I think it's around 100 and something pages. The thing I like about this is he colors everything with markers and such. So I think that is fantastic. Now, this book is not heavy on text, which I kind of like. And I think with the amount of text he supplies, he does a great job talking about his process. Look how cool that is. Once again, colors with markers. So he goes in, talks about his stuff. That he calls a thumbnail, which I think is really tight. And then here, the reason it looks the way it is because he blew the thumbnail up and now he's tracing it off on a light box. So he actually has the light box turned on when he took the photo. Let's see. Inking, something else I find really interesting. He inks on a separate sheet of paper as well. So he pencils it and then puts another piece of paper over top to do the inking on. Which, I gotta say, it's pretty smart. Keeps everything nice and clean, for sure. Here he's talking about composition and details and stuff like that. Here you can see, this is the pencil stage, totally done right here. So, the previous shot I showed where I said inking, he was still doing penciling. It's just with a mechanical pencil. So here's the finished pencil stage. Yes, it looks really busy, but even in this stage, the lack of detail and stuff makes the main character pop out, and the framing of this triangle shape behind his head. Here he's going into the inking, which he is doing on a separate sheet of paper. He's using black microns. He starts small with a 01. And then as he warms up, he moves up to a 03 to a 05. And then he'll use a brush for large black areas and such. Number 2 brush, and he uses that to block in the black area. So it's cool seeing him go through the process here. And now, inking complete, and it now actually pulls together nicely with the strong black back there. He really pops out. I mean, it does work in black and white, and you've got a nice A-shaped composition. His figure's an A shape. You've got, or triangular shapes here. The overall shape of this is triangular, so very nice. Now he moves on to color, and I like how he breaks down his color process. And I'm just impressed because color with Copics and markers and stuff, it's pretty unforgiving. You mess up and you got to do a patch or something. He didn't really go into detail about like if he messes up in here. But it's cool. You can see he's doing these, he's using some greens, but he's doing overall like these brownish tones and lighter greens and stuff. And then as we move on to the finished piece, he washed over everything with another type of green marker to push everything back. But those browns that he used show through, which is pretty cool. And I like the graphicness he left of the white on him with his pants and his cape and stuff. It really helps draw the eye. That's just a great design. From words to pictures, this is a project he's doing with Dan Abnett called Blue Vortex. I don't believe it's out yet. So this is a script page, so you can read it, and you can see his process of going through with his thumbnail here, and then you can see this is more rough pencils here, blocking in the text. I assume that's done in Photoshop just to do it and show the flow around the page and such. And here he is doing the full pencils. He's once again tracing it off. And here we have the pencil drawing complete once again. Here's the one character. That's really cool. And this is when I realized, oh my God, he's inking on a... Well, I kind of figured it out early from that first piece because you couldn't see the pencils. But yeah, so he inks on a light box as well. Using the same process as I did for my cover, I place my drawing on the light box. Using illustration board, I begin my inking process, correcting and improving the underlying drawing. Now, I'd like to know what type of paper he's actually using because it's not illustration board. Illustration board, he lives in the UK, so maybe that's what they call it. But over here, you can't use illustration board. You can't see through it. So I don't know if he's using Bristol or some type of layout paper that accepts markers well, but you can see he's adding some color. He used a blue thin marker to outline some of the bubble effect because this dude's in water and he's just doing that stuff straight to color. And he's using a lava lamp as reference. So that's pretty cool. So here it is now, and the light box is turned off. It's funny, I just bought that light box. That's the same type of light box I have. I recognize the measurements and the clips at top. It's great. It has a few different settings on it. That's a whole nother thing. So you can see how he's moving along here. I can't even imagine how long something like this takes. This dude's work is so detailed. You see the lava stuff is coming better, the gloopy bubble type stuff. The light box is turned on, so it's kind of hard to see, but you can see through it. Here he's talking about how he worked out the guy's shoulder pad tighter before he started to do inks because it really wasn't tight enough. And now the color is complete. So this page, while there's tons of detail on it and the black and white line art, with the colors, he kept it pretty monochromatic, which is cool. And it really focuses your eye. Like, I love that. I really love this. It's so simple, the tech, but just the little bits of color and then like this little bit of detail here. This dude's face is great because he's got more color in it because it's, you know, it's a face compared to like the cloak and such. And then there's that very cool shoulder pad that he did. And not having a black ink line around this bubble stuff is just very, very nice effect. Tiamat, a biomechanical menace. A double-page splash begins in typical fashion with a small sketch no larger than 4 inches wide. So that's his small sketch. He starts penciling it, and then here he's jumping ahead some. I believe that might be the finished pencils there. It is. And then same thing, using a light box, going in and starting to ink it. He says, for the early part of my career, I would pencil a page using a 7H pencil. 7H. Guys, I use a HB. The higher the number, the harder the pencil. If it has an H behind it and if it has a B behind it, the softer the lead. 7H. The hardest pencil I've ever used is a 2H. I can't imagine using a 7H pencil. That's crazy, but it's right. The harder the lead, it's a lighter mark on the paper. So you can see his inking process, and then boom, here it is, finish inks. I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, now I got to color it. And once again, coloring with markers. He's using a cool palette, and he kind of works you through it. I kind of wish he explained a little bit more in the text of his process of layering the colors and such. But here it is, complete. And once again, everything pulls together really nicely. Here's the focus. There's still a good amount of detail in this head, but there's not really any solid blacks. All the solid blacks are around him on the rest of his body. So you really do focus nicely on the head. And then, of course, the way he has these graphic shapes of like the water and stuff coming in help you focus. Mech bot process. The following 4 pages are a chase scene that ended up on the cutting room floor in favor of a better and more exciting alternative. Well, there you go. Man, this guy's stuff is just very intense. I love seeing this design little process here. Once again, the other thing I kind of wish too is that if he makes a mistake using the color, I kind of wish he would have talked about, don't worry, if I make a mistake in color, this is how I fix it. So maybe he doesn't make mistakes, or like anybody, he probably does, but he's been doing it for so long, he knows ways to fix them. I love how this panel here is all reds with some blue reflected light and stuff coming in. I love theatrical lighting like that. And then here's the finished page. So on the outside, you've got all these blues and whatnot. And then on the inside here, you've got this red, and you've got the little red right there to indicate that's where this guy's sitting in this ship. And then this ship is that one there he's looking at. So this is another project. He's working on his looser pencils there. I use an archival ink micron pen size 02. The inking starts slow but steady as I go, as I feel my way into it, refining the design as I go. The inking process quickly moves forward to the color. The only thought I had was this line is going to be blue, so all surrounding color decisions had to work with that. As before, washing a cool shadow color over the whole thing helps achieve the goal of harmonizing everything. Very nice looking. So it's cool. He's got this panel done, and now he's working on the panel above it. That is, my mind just doesn't work that way. And then here we go. This section is finished, so you can see the finish on that. You know, a mistake would be to render up all these bubbles to make them look three-dimensional. He kept them really graphic with just a little bit of color. So your focus is on the cockpit of this ship with this lion dude and stuff. The singularity. Crazy. Same thing, once again, now he's doing the inking on the page, inking through a light box. I love it. I complete the inking of the numerous bubbles, all the while contemplating my decision to draw so many of them. And that is some tedious work right there. And they're so clean and tight. And then once again, there's the finished ink page he shows. And now he's going into the color process. And then he takes you through the individual steps. Here, talking about pushing and pulling, feeling for the right balance between dark and lights. And here it is, once again, all done. Just look at the lighting on the whales in those first couple panels. I mean, you really do get the sense of the light coming through the surface of the water down onto them. This was one of the main reasons I picked this book up, is I like his art, but I love the fact that he's coloring everything with markers. Bronn the Brave, the icy tundra's greatest war hero. So he's talking about the evolution of the idea. And you do see some of the page he's going to be working on, putting it all together. Even though it's repetitive, he's showing the penciling and inking process and such again. And let me tell you guys, looking at this book in person is a huge difference. It really is. So here's the line art finished. And he's inking it here. Shows how the light box, what he sees through. I'm guessing he's using Bristol board paper for the inking. If he has a contact on here, I might have to see if I can contact him and ask him exactly. And now he's getting to work on the color. I mean, he jumped a few steps here, but that's okay. And then I'm glad he printed this one as a 2-page spread to see all the color stuff that he did. And that is just wicked freaking cool. I've thought about getting a big set of like markers, but I just don't use them enough. And I had markers before, and I still have some right now. I just don't use them enough, and then they dry out, and I kind of wasted my money. If I used them once a week, I could see, but I don't. So there you go. Kill them all, he says. Bronn, the quest for the Jade Pterosaur. So even another page, just when you thought he was done, he's like, nope, I'm doing this cool horizontal page. Looks like it could be a 2-page spread. I love that, where he's got the same background and the figure traveling through the background, getting closer to us. Goes in here doing the colors and stuff. And then, oh, that was it. No 2-page spread of the full thing, just this side he shows. Finished colors. The Magnificent Goblineers. The next few pages are a sneak peek at early production art for a new graphic novel in development. This dude's imagination is just off the hook. Just freaking cool. I believe I've seen his name on some interior work for Marvel, and the stuff looks way different than this. So nothing there about contact. Oh, there you go, PaulDavidsonArt.com. I will have to go to that website. But there you go, guys. Fantastic. Illustrated, the comic art techniques of Paul Davidson. Thank you for watching, as always. Hello, thank you guys for watching the video of Fantastic Illustrated, the comic art techniques of Paul Davidson. Hope you enjoyed it. Go check it out and get it. Link is in the description below. Next week, I just picked this up at a show. It is the art of well, it's Marvel, so it's it should be called The Marvel Art of Ed McGuinness. It's called Deadpool, The Art of Ed McGuinness, Deadpool and His Amazing Friends. It's Marvel Pop Art Productions. I've seen these around. You can get it used at a pretty good deal. And this is next week's book look. So until then, thank you for watching. Of course, go check out my campaign for KOR-DRATH, The Awakening. That is a 64-page graphic novel following the adventures of KOR-DRATH and his sorceress girlfriend, Adriana, as they try to defeat Vordoom the Undying, the Necronite, and Lilneth, to prevent them from taking over the Shattered Reach, their homeland. Check that out. And of course, still funding as well. Go check out KOR-DRATH, A Christmas Miracle. It's a 28-page children's book, 24 pages of story, and then, you know, table of contents, stuff like that. So check that out as well. That'll be shipping in November. It is perfect for your early reader to read. And if your children are just learning to read, you can read it to them. It's a fun little tale drawn in a simpler style that I used before on previous kids' books that I did featuring DC characters. All right. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share these videos all over your social media to help build up my channel so I can keep bringing you these videos. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.